Okay, I want you to be more socially aware and understand that since you've joined the stream, everyone's begging for you to leave. The vibe's down. It's boring. It's late at night for me. I came here to have fun. You're being boring. No one thinks you're cool. No one thinks you're intelligent. No one thinks you're.
This is such a oh my God, this is so whiny.
Why can't I be a hustler? I want to be a hustler like you. I want to be a top G, a top bloke, a proper bloke.
You can find out more on the website. I would like the stream to get fun again. If you want to discuss this,
you don't think your educational content is fun?
Fine. I come on here and talk about my own personal experiences, and my experiences, men are better drivers than women. I'm not saying there's no good female drivers. I'm not saying a female can't.
No. You're misunderstanding.
See, he said there's no. He's saying I'm not saying there's no good female drivers.
Right.
He's just saying men are better drivers than women, according to my personal experience. So he's saying, I would assume from that, extrapolate from that he's saying men on average are better drivers than women on average.
Right.
What I'm saying, there is a truth, and then there is your own personal experiences backed by anecdotes, right? Or your own personal opinion backed by anecdotes from your own personal experiences. Now, your own personal experiences are oftentimes going to be incorrect and not close to the reality. That's why there's an entire field of statistical analysis. That's why we do empirical. That's why we rely on empirical evidence. When we're
See, this is why I'm triggered here, because how does Hasan make this claim when if you're going to look at a study and say women on average are better drivers, how does that even interface with your lived experience? Because you can't really infer that because you're standing in front of a woman that she's a better driver.
But you keep adding this element to the conversation that's not there.
Yeah, but he is literally saying you can infer truth from this.
No, he's okay.
You can infer truth at the statistical level. You can't infer truth at the individual level.
That's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying. He's saying, first of all, you can be mad at Hasan here, triggered at Hasan here, because he's a hypocrite. And when it comes to trans issues, when it comes to the success of, communism, he's being a total hypocrite here.
Because
he's not looking at any studies, any facts.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. That's all gonna go out the window. Okay. And he's gonna be, if you're having a conversation with Hasan about, the effectiveness of socialist economic systems, and you were to bring out a bunch of studies,
he'd be like, I'm gonna go with my lived experience.
Yeah, or he would literally go the Andrew Tate route and say, listen, those studies were created by capitalists. You can't trust them. That's the argument. Okay. But if we throw that all aside and we just look at what he said in a vacuum, what Hasan's saying is 100% right. And this is why I don't understand your qualms here. Because if Hasan thinks that Andrew's claim is women are worse drivers than men on average, okay, and Andrew's defense to this is, well, this is my lived experience. And Hasan says, well, wait a minute. You can't, as you said, Adam, you can't extrapolate these broad claims based on your lived experiences. Maybe you just date women that are stupid, because maybe stupid women are all that's attracted to you.
Right. And
or maybe you just live in some area that for whatever reason, women suck at driving.
The third factor, the invisible third factor.
There's going to be some magic factor that you don't know about. That's why you have to, and when you're making these broad claims, you do have to look at statistics, because that's the entire point of statistics, is to measure these things on a broad level.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then if that's what's being discussed, then what Hasan is saying is completely correct.
Right. Okay. Here, I'm going to back it up and hear his claim one more time.
We're making and not close to the reality. That's why there's an entire field of statistical analysis. That's why we do empirical. That's why we rely on empirical evidence when we're making decisions. Why? Because we all carry a bunch of personal biases, statistical own personal experiences backed by anecdotes, right?
Okay, your own personal experience backed by anecdotes.
Or your own personal opinion backed by anecdotes from your own personal experiences. Now, your own personal experiences are oftentimes going to be incorrect and not close to the reality. That's why there's an entire field of statistical analysis. That's why we do empirical. That's why we rely on empirical evidence when we're making decisions. Why? Because we all carry a bunch of personal biases.
So he's just talking about the one claim that women on average are better drivers than men on average. That's the only claim he's talking about.
And when we analyze situations, we do not have enough scope to grasp the entirety of the situation. We cannot comprehend it with our human brains.
Bro, listen,
which is why when it comes to women driving, it's a funny point because the truth is different. The truth is the exact opposite.
No, listen. First things first. There's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics. I'm sure you've heard that from Mark Twain. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you're deriving.
You can massage. Yeah, you can massage numbers, but
you're deriving your truth from an internet study. That's fine. You can derive your truth from an internet study on a bunch of different things. The truth of life is the truth that you experience as an individual. That is the only truth that we all live within. You live within your truths, I live within my truths, because these are the truths I've experienced as an individual. This
is such a brainlet take that he's giving. Because you could, like, what he's saying is true for most people, and the entire point is you need to break free of that. Like, if you want to be an elephant and on autopilot, then you just live your life according to what Andrew just said. Okay, but if you want free will, you need to break out of that, the matrix.
We're just seeing we're kind of just seeing this completely differently because
we are, yes.
Well, no, I understand the argument that you're making. You're making the argument that in order for us to understand the world, we need to base our understanding in empirical evidence. And I completely agree. I have the utmost respect for evidence. At the same time, in a very Jordan Peterson way, we have to embrace the world as we find it, right? And in the old, I think Jordan Peterson says, in the realm of true enough, our theories of the world often are based on our personal experience. And I mean, we can all come up with situations where your personal experience would because of that invisible third factor, make the world different than the statistical study. So the conflict that I see here is obviously you can't extrapolate that out to all women are worse drivers or whatever, but for his personal experience, I think you got to go. The argument that they're having about whether or not you should, making decisions at the local level rely on some study that's at a much higher level, I think you could have a mismatch of behavior.
Well,
does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying, but it's like with hydrochloroquine.
Yes.
Or the ivermectin. I don't remember which one. Which is the parasite one?
Yeah. It's a hydrochloroquine, the invisible third factor.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, this, we're giving people hydrochloroquine and it seems to be helping with COVID.
Some people,
Right. And then it turns out, and then they look at the studies and they say, well, according to broader studies, it doesn't seem to do anything. And so you say, okay, well, we have some conflict here. We have people in their lived experiences in some part of the world are taking this drug and it seems to be working, and yet the broader studies say it's not working. And what is going on here? And then we find out through more studies what's going on here is that, it helps people who have parasites, and that drug helps get rid of the parasites, which makes your body stronger at fighting off COVID. It doesn't really do anything to fight COVID, the COVID, virus.
That's why it showed strong results in nations that had high parasite loads, because it was killing the parasites, right? But this is exactly what I'm talking about, because you needed that higher level of information before you could make any kind of determination.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I don't think either one of these guys have enough information to make any
they might not,
determination.
They might not. But at least Hasan seems, at least in this part of the conversation, being hypocrite aside, is acknowledging that you need the method in which you need to get the higher knowledge, the higher information. Where Andrew is basically just, I guess, to win an argument, even though 10 seconds earlier said that he did need, when the other guy was making the claim about women being better leaders than men, Andrew was making the argument that, well, you need studies, you need higher information to get to that claim. And now he's on the other side of the fence. Now he's the one being a hypocrite because he's like, well, I don't need higher, levels of information. I don't need studies. My lived experiences is good enough, which is a dumb thing to say. That would be like the pink-haired feminist saying, well, in my lived experiences, I've worked for men and women, and all my female bosses have been way better than my male bosses.
Right. Yes. Okay, same page. Go ahead. Let's move on.
Certain things happen to you over and over and over and over and over again, but the truth on the internet says it's not true. That doesn't mean that your experiences are any less real. So if you to come here and say the internet says X, especially
your experiences,
and I mean, Hasan is an idiot too, because he should literally say what I just said. He should have brought up that point. So wait a minute, you were just arguing with this other guy about this thing.
This can be real. You could be a statistical anomaly, as a matter of fact. You can be one of those people, but more often than not, more often than that,
I want to talk to you because I keep letting you talk and you're finishing your point and I'm trying to talk. So
okay, go ahead.
You know, I mean, Hasan is playing with his hair. You don't think he's nervous? I mean, I'm just saying. It's like he screams, "I'm nervous as fuck," and you're like completely giving him a pass.
Andrew is like talking far more quickly, far more. In my mind, far more nervously than Hasan is in this conversation.
So the playing with the hair is just that's a Chad move these days.
I don't think that's a Chad move. I think he has long hair. But.
Right. Okay. Points to Hasan because he did kind of allude to the third factor. Like you could, you could be a statistical anomaly. You could live in a place where the women drivers suck.
I'm going to. The fact that you're going on the internet, finding some study and saying that this is the truth, especially after the age of COVID and all the fucking truth we were told with that garbage, you want to sit here and say, oh, the internet said X. I'm sure the internet did. I'm talking about my personal experiences, and some people agree with me and some people do not. That is perfectly fine. Don't give a fuck if people agree with me or otherwise. People are listening to me and they're either agreeing with me or not.
I know, but you're still wrong, and that's the problem.
I disagree with you.
Do you want to be right, or do you want to keep speaking into a hug box where people agree with you, and
Prove
then
to me I'm wrong.
Well, if you just completely devalue empirical evidence, actuarial sciences, the entirety of the insurance industry that relies on making these sorts of calculations to ensure that these quotes are as profitable as possible, which ends up charging men higher rates than women, is a statistical likelihood that men are more dangerous drivers.
We wouldn't have all of this information if it wasn't for capitalism. Go, baby.
That's true. Because
women,
I'm sure like 90% of the studies in this is literally just for insurance companies to
Totally.
figure out who to charge more.
Exactly. I'm sure a lot of statistical information is only collected because of capitalism, baby. Efficiency. Who doesn't want to be more efficient? I mean, that's the thing.
Across the board, and get into more car accidents across the board. If you're going to look at all of that and say it doesn't matter because that does not correspond to my own personal experiences, then you're silly. You're being silly. You're being a silly person. If everyone thought like you did, right, we would have no scientific achievements on this planet. We would still be living inside of fucking caves. And now, as much as I love Liver King personally, I don't think that that would be a good planet to live on. I'm pretty happy for, I don't know, all the medical achievements, all the scientific achievements that we have reached. And at the heart of all of that, all of those accomplishments lies an understanding of arriving at the truth through empirical evidence.
Are you saluting, Sitch?
I'm trying to find this study. I can't find whatever the fuck study that he's running. I keep finding like there's some British study. I'm like, is this really what we're talking about? We're talking about the Brits, the proto-American. There's no American study on this.
The postage stamp nation of Great Britain.
We don't have some. Yeah, we have some proto-American study. Can we have some good old red, white, and blue study here? Hit it.
Are you done?
Look, man. People they get the wrong argument in their head and they just I heard you say it that way. Sitch, you're supposed to avoid this.
What did I do? What happened?
Well, you're the one that has given people the impression that I'm defending Tate's argument that his lived experience gives him some deeper truth in the world, which
that's
is
what it sounded like you were doing. But if that's not what you're doing,
that's not.
okay.
Listen,
And I accept
how,
Adam is not what he was doing, and I
how
misunderstood. I accept this. Okay.
How do I make the argument that there is some invisible third factor here that's interesting and worth digging for empirical evidence on, if I'm not allowed to say, maybe there's something to the evidence that he's presenting. And in social science, they often say you get enough anecdote and now you have data.
Right.
So, I mean, what the fuck? I'm saying, listen, what he's saying here is a piece of data that there might be some other third factor that we could tease out what is actually going on here. And somehow everyone is thinking that I'm saying his lived experience is somehow revelatory of some deeper meaning about the world.
Well,
no,
I think
fuck you. Fuck you. You have to fuck you on what I am actually saying.
So, what you just said now, I agree with, and that could be interesting.
Yes,
why does Andrew Tate have such poor experience with women drivers?
I'm telling you, I'm ready to do a double-blind study.
Is he just or is it only like shitty drivers and stupid women that are attracted to him? I don't know. Possibly.
I think that's a good hypothesis.
Such a misogynist that he just perceives women as being poor drivers. I don't know the answer to this question. And that's fine. I don't think you explained your position clearly in the beginning of the conversation. And that's what caused the misunderstanding.
You know what makes it really hard to explain your position clearly?
When I'm yelling at you?
When somebody is telling you what your position is and making assumptions that you're not making, and then jumping to conclusions that you're not ready to jump to. This is why what you and I have here is such a good thing, because that doesn't happen in 90. Well, it normally doesn't happen. It happened a little bit today, but in 99% of internet debates, that's all that happens.
That is true. That is true.
Which is why there's, Adam's law. All, 90% of debates are fucking straw man arguments of the other side. Because,
well, I apologize if I strawmanned your position.
I primed you with the Jordan Peterson stuff. You were like, oh my God, Adam is going down the dark path. It is a little scary, I got to admit. If I wake up one morning and Sitch is like, I finally made a video and it's the Twitter ban video, I'm going to be like,
that's not going to happen.
I'm going to scream.
It's not, no.
My life, fuck!
I have no desire to make a Jordan Peterson video.
Fuck! No, I mean if it's your version of the Twitter ban video.
I understand what you're saying.
Like you completely, for some reason, I mean, we've been joking around. We always seem to have like the same intuitions about every story we encounter. It's like.
Well, that's why I get so confused when you say something that seems so wildly outside of that.
It's not that wild that it is interesting to me that there could be some.
Yeah, no, I'm saying my misunderstanding of your position seems so. I was like, I don't understand what the fuck.
And now, everybody hates Adam.
Everyone be nice to Adam. Okay.
It always is. Everybody hates Adam because now everyone is going to walk away from this, and they're going to think Adam doesn't listen. What the fuck? Fuck you. Fuck you. Look, Adam doesn't make himself clear. I was half finished with my fucking argument. Anyway,
well, listen.
Let us continue.
I'll take the blame for cutting you off, but you have to take some blame in that you were not remotely clear what the fuck your argument was.
I think
this was the destiny morality part 2. Like no one clearly understood what you were trying to articulate.
I honestly think if you just would have let me finish, I could have articulated it. I mean, I would have said it enough times until you did figure it out.
Well, no, you have a habit of just repeating yourself without changing what you're saying, and does not bring new meaning to the conversation.
Well, I'll work on that.
Okay.
Do I really do that?
You do, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I should work on that.
See, we're growing,
Mm-hmm.
okay, as a team. We're married. We're growing as a team.
I like the way that you say, all right.
I know you did.
It's so perfect.
It's so dismissive.
It
It's
is.
so
I
great.
love
Yes.
it. I fucking
Yes.
love it.
Mhm.
I was doing it on our Sunday stream.
I know you were.
All right. All right.
I take it as a badge of pride every time you do it.
All
Like
right.
he's learning from me.
Okay.
Hmm.
I want to up the dismissiveness of it.
Yes.
It's just got to be dripping with condescension and dismissiveness. All right. All right. Let us continue. Just there's spoiler alert.
Okay.
It's never none of the stuff we're talking about is ever made clear.
Yeah, but that's because listen, we're like both of us are in like the low 3-digit IQ range.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hasan and Andrew are obviously in the low 2-digit IQ range. It's like
Oh, that's
they're
so
still
bad.
stuck on like
That
101 of the
that's
conversation.
That's not true. That can't be true.
That can't
If
be
you have
true.
if you have less than 65
I know that was
IQ, like you don't even understand how throwing a baseball works. Like
I mean, until I see evidence, until my lived experience perceives Andrew and Hasan playing catch, I'm going to assume otherwise.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Cool. In my personal experiences, all of the car crashes I've been involved in, all the times my car was hit, and all the negative experience I've had on the road, women were at fault. That is, now you can sit here and say the insurance claims say that. I never said the insurance claims don't say that. I'm saying that I am not comfortable with women driving because of my personal experience. Those are my personal experiences. You can drag up all the empirical evidence in the world you want to try and drag up. Anyone with a brain knows how that aids the world agendas anyway. I don't want to go too political on a stream that's going to get taken down. So I'm not saying that I can't find a female race car driver. I'm not saying that.
That's not what I'm saying either. I'm not talking about like statistical anomalies. I'm straight up talking about the overwhelming amount of evidence that suggests that women are more careful drivers than men. Okay? And therefore better drivers than men.
See, he's not saying on average. He's not. Maybe he means it. You know, good faith
mean,
Gary.
Usually, when people have a conversation like this, the unsaid part is on average.
The on average.
Yes.
Well,
usually.
we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Now,
first time for Hasan.
You keep resorting back to your personal anecdotes. So let me walk you through this, right?
Brother,
do you agree that human beings have biases?
Do me a favor.
Okay. But hey, I respected your time. Do you want to answer my question? Do you believe that human beings have biases?
Oh, absolutely. We're all biased.
Okay.
Completely.
Do you think that those biases might cloud your judgment?
It's not about clouding judgment.
Not just your personal not just your own personal judgment. Do you think our biases might cloud our personal judgment?
I think every single person on earth is biased and lives within a biased
absolutely.
reality.
That's absolutely true. Okay. So if you agree with me on both of those accounts, you understand that your anecdotes, your own personal accumulation of information is going to be clouded by your own personal biases. So you're not going to be able to assess the information adequately in the same way that empirical evidence would. This is precisely why we look at data rather than make arguments around our... Wait, let me finish. Come on.
I understand what you're saying.
This is precisely why we do that.
We've went over the same point like 5 times here.
Everyone's saying kick you. You're long-winded the point. You're saying that the empirical evidence is saying X, so it doesn't matter what my personal experience is. That's fine. My point is, let me change it. Let's say that the empirical evidence says that a pit bull is more likely to bite you than a Dalmatian. But in your life experience, every time you went near a Dalmatian, it bit you, and a pit bull never did. Are you going to go up to a Dalmatian still completely and go, oh, it's fine, completely unbiased because the empirical evidence says X when you're covered in scars? No. You're going to say Dalmatians bite me for some reason, and I'm not comfortable around Dalmatians. That's called human nature. Okay. So I'm telling you my personal experiences, and I don't care. I understand your point. Empirical evidence says X. Women in this country can do X.
See, now again, this is all useless because Andrew never explained what the claim was. Because his point would be valid in terms of like in terms of like your lived experiences, you know, if you've never had a pit bull bite you and you've been around 10 Dalmatians and everyone's bit you,
Right.
then yes, obviously you are and should rationally be more cautious around the Dalmatian,
Right.
even if it doesn't statistically make sense.
Assume
Okay?
there's some third factor, even if you don't know
Yeah,
what
I don't
it
know.
is.
Maybe you have a specific scent that makes Dalmatians angry. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Sure.
But that's very different than then turning around and saying Dalmatians are more dangerous than pit bulls or bite you more often than
Yes.
pit bulls.
Yeah. Of course. But I don't know that I don't see. I don't know the origin of. I guess it is. Women drivers suck is probably the origin. He
Right.
is like a pickup artist type. Well, no, I don't know if he's a pickup artist. He is like a get rich quick scheme guy.
Mm-hmm.
Does that
Yeah, I guess.
do
I
those
don't know,
overlap? I'm not even sure.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
So who's making the better arguments here?
Well, Hasan is making the better argument. Andrew's making a terrible argument. Unless Andrew's making a different claim than we think he's making, then this could all be reversed. But I don't know what his claim is.
The
'Cause this sounds
Dalmatian
like
argument is
backtracking
not
to me.
good, or I mean,
If-
you're
if-
endorsing it right here. You just said.
If Andrew's claim is, I'm not saying that women are worse drivers than men on average. All I'm saying is that when I get into a car and a woman's driving, it makes me feel nervous because of my lived experiences. I would say, okay, fine. You can say that's
Right.
a totally fine thing to say.
You could even make the declaration: women drivers around me are terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe listen. Maybe Andrew's just so attractive. His
Right.
male magnetism is just
Right.
so
Makes them
powerful
real nervous while they're driving.
that when he's in the passenger seat, the woman is just so distracted. They keep looking at him.
Right.
His pheromones are so powerful that they just can't focus on the road and they get into car accidents. And then this leads Andrew to thinking women are worse.
He's like,
drivers.
lady, keep your eyes on the road.
Yes, exactly. Stop staring at my,
Mhm.
I mean, now maybe if he drove places with a shirt on, maybe that would maybe that would help. But
Right.
so who knows? That could be the factor. That could be the mysterious third factor.
Maybe every time he
I
gets
compl-
into a car, he like lights up a giant doobie, and so the woman is like terrified she's going to get pulled over and incarcerated.
Or maybe she just gets, high by proxy.
Yeah, that could be it. And
And
he's
the
like, I
men,
don't
since-
understand. Why are all these women terrible drivers? And it's
There
totally
you
his
go.
fault.
And men are on average are bigger than women. It's going to take more
Right.
drugs on average to get them high. So
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah. Could
I
be
cannot
all
believe I
kinds of
cannot
things.
find a clear answer to this question. I would assume that this would be very clear cut
You're
on the
looking
men-women driver study. I have not been able to find anything conclusive. I've actually found two studies from 10 years apart that say the exact opposite. One says men are better drivers and one says women are better drivers.
Yeah. Well,
It's just really stupid.
everything. This is the problem with Hasan's argument, because everything Hasan said about bias also applies to science, and especially the social sciences, which are just a nightmare of fucking bias. Like the social sciences need to undergo the same kind of revolution that the medical sciences did. I mean, there was a time when medicine was not really a science. Like, you tell people, oh, I think washing our hands is probably a good idea, and the doctors would just laugh at you. Wash your hands.
Mhm.
Puh. I'm a doctor, okay? I know the truth. So, and that's kind of the situation in the social sciences now. Like, maybe we're coming to conclusions that we just want to come to. Shut up. I'm a feminist. I know how science works, okay?
Right.
Yeah. We need to totally restructure the social sciences in the same way we restructured medicine.
Right.
With, adherence to double-blind studies, like all this stuff. None of that is in the social sciences.
There's an interesting study that I did find that says, first of all, the stat, which everyone would expect to be true, which is that the majority of car crash deaths are males.
Well, that doesn't say who's a better driver.
I know it doesn't, but you can understand that people would extrapolate from that women are better drivers incorrectly. So, but here's why this is weird, because it says 71% of all car crash deaths in 2017 were male. Males are more likely on average to engage in riskier driving behavior such as speeding, driving drunk, or driving when sleepy than women are.
Right.
All things you would expect. But then here's why this is interesting. You would expect that men would then pay more for insurance than women, but actually this says that in 25 states, women pay more than men for insurance.
Really?
And the reason for this, which is interesting, is that apparently even if men are more likely to die in a car accident or cause a catastrophic car accident, women are more likely to be seriously injured in a car accident.
Oh, I gotcha.
So that's interesting. And the question is, well, why is that?
Because they're frail.
Is it? I don't know.
They're frail little women.
Well, the question is it something to do with body shape? Is it something to do with that? Are women more likely to be in the passenger seat? And I think usually in car accidents, the passenger side of the car takes more damage than the driver's side.
Why?
Because people have an instinct to turn away from the accident.
Why do you think men are more likely to be in a catastrophic accident?
That's what the statistics say.
Is
or
it,
you just ask me why?
Is it because they believe men are better drivers than women?
Well, men are more confident on average on their driving ability than women.
Yes, totally.
So you combine that confidence with the fact that men on average are more likely to engage in all risky behavior than women, and you're creating a scenario where, yes, obviously for catastrophic accidents, men are more likely to be at least, involved with the cause of the accident.
Yeah. Let us continue. Let's polish this off. Come on, enough arguing.
Completely get that. For secondly, it's also country by country because you're only talking about America because you're American and you don't see outside of the world. That's fine.
I'm Turkish, actually. I grew up in Turkey.
That's not the point.
How dare you? Fucking Hasan. What a traitor. What a traitor.
Mm-hmm.
Turkish. Probably has dual citizenship. I think America should make people renounce their dual citizenship. If you want to tell people you're Turkish, if you want to have a Turkish citizenship, go back to Turkey. What are you doing?
I'm assuming Hasan does have American citizenship. He said he grew up in Turkey. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what he said. Yeah, no.
How dare he?
I know.
I think when you become an American citizen, you have to pretend like you were born in America. You actually lose your past. You can no longer say that you were born in another country.
Well, I'm team truth here. I don't want people lying, but I think we can.
It's not a lie. I mean, technically, the rest of the world is just America, and they don't know it yet.
Well, I do like that. Yeah, that's a good way around. Or they could just say no comment.
You know that one world government in the far off future that TJ is talking about? That's going to be America, baby.
Don't trigger Kurt, okay?
That's going to be America.
Because in Star Trek they do have one world. I mean, one world government is inevitable. How is it not?
It's inevitable at some point in the very far future. Yeah. It will be inevitable once there are other planets in which we have to contend with on a political scale.
But Mars is a thing.
Well, maybe not just one, but even if, even in Star Trek never get into it, but like in a hypothetical Star Trek future, even if there was one massive world government, you'd still have to be managed locally. There still would be local governments that would be, the power structure would just look, like there'd be a global and a federal and a state government. It's still all, branched down that way.
This has got to be how it works because eventually we're going to terraform Mars, and Mars is going to be one world government because it's going to start one world government.
Well, it might not. I don't know. It depends. Will there be an American colony on one side of Mars and a Chinese colony on the other side of Mars that compete?
Please tell. No.
It could happen.
That won't happen.
It'll be like Cold War. It'll be, instead of Cold War, it'll be Space War. Mars War.
As soon as we get to Mars, we're going to set up a big old rocket launcher. And
Mars
we
could
see
literally
any
be
Chinese spaceships, we're going to blow them out of the atmosphere.
Mars could be like East versus West Germany in space.
No.
It'll be the next Cold War race,
I guess you're right. It could end up that way. I don't think
Yep.
so, though. Can you imagine Elon Musk landing on Mars and coming out for the first time and unfurling a no Chinese flag? No,
It just has a picture of Winnie the Pooh with a big nose.
it says no Chinese allowed. Stay away.
No, listen, the Chinese are allowed. They just have to be part of the American colony. Okay. They can't create their own colony.
It says Americans only.
No.
Americans only. Can we do that? If we
I don't think we can do that.
Can we
no.
claim the whole planet Mars? Why not?
I don't think you can claim a planet. I
If
don't know
we
what
have
the-
one American living on Mars, we should be able to claim the whole planet.
I see.
Why not?
Yeah.
I guess you got to.
Possession is 9/10 of the law. Right?
I guess you kind of have to monopolize the territory. Otherwise, I mean, they could just sneak a guy on the other side, right?
That's right. How would you wouldn't know?
That would suck. That would suck. He would be in your territory, but so far away you couldn't get him.
Under John Locke's rules of liberalism, okay, one man can't claim a planet and just say it's his. If he's not utilizing the resources, then he forfeits the rights to them.
Space is a resource. A view is a resource.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
That's not the point I'm making. Point I'm making is I'm uncomfortable with a woman driving. And if you actually ask most women, if it gets late at night or it starts getting dark or it starts raining heavily or the parking gets difficult, they usually ask the man to drive themselves. I know many women who do that. They're not offended by my assumption. I know loads of women who go, oh, I don't want to park, you park it. Loads. There's not a bad thing about it. Who gives a shit, right? It's not even a big deal. You've come on here deciding you really want to stick up for the chicks and maybe, one of them will drive over to your house. It's cool. We've got better things
I don't
to
think
talk about.
look, let's be real. I don't think I need to be a male feminist to be able to attract women, okay? However, having said that, that was a funny implication. Having said that, you are failing to recognize what I am trying to say. I walked you through these steps slowly but surely. The thing is, the Dalmatian example that you gave is great. Why is it great? Because you are creating now a hypothetical scenario in which you want your opponent to concede. I can do the exact same thing and say, well, in my personal experience, Dalmatians never bite, or pit bulls never bite, whichever one you thought was the more aggressive breed, right? In my personal experience, what if in a million times that I have bred pit bulls or been around pit bulls, not a single one of them has ever been aggressive? We will never be able to arrive at a meaningful solution or a resolution to this conversation if we're both operating on personal anecdotes and hypotheticals.
Okay. Let's talk about two things. Let's talk about the optics, and let's talk about whether this is a good argument or not. Optically, I don't see the optics the way you see it. And in this conversation, Hasan is calm, cool, and collected, and Andrew is upset and seems to be floundering, in my opinion. Not just in what he's saying, but in the way he's saying it. So I think this is a clear optical win for Hasan.
Okay.
Now, the argument that Hasan just laid out right here is stupid and nonsensical. And he is falling into the trap that you were talking about, Adam, earlier. And this is where if you had someone who was a little bit more intelligent debating Hasan, or if Hasan was more intelligent, he would have responded closer to what I said in the Dalmatian example, which is to say, well, it depends on what the claim you're making is.
Right.
If you're only talking about your personal, what you're going to react to a situation, then fine, but you can't make a broader claim about, the behavior of dog breeds.
Right.
Period.
Yes.
Okay. But Hasan's not saying that, because I don't think Hasan, as we know, Hasan isn't very smart. And he's just kind of like regurgitating things he's heard before.
Right. Science-y type things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
he's saying, all experience is bad.
Or just worthless.
Yeah,
yes.
worthless.
Or we won't be able to derive truth.
Right.
We'll just argue forever about this.
Right.
which
yes.
isn't the issue really.
Well,
but.
you'll argue forever about it if you want to make some bold claim that, pit bulls never bite anyone.
Right.
Like, okay. That's actually falsifiable if you want to make that claim.
Do you know, I didn't know this till the other day. I was having a conversation with someone about this and I looked it up. I had no idea why they were called pit bulls until like last week.
Really? Why are they?
They used to be a sport in Proto-America land where they would literally tie a bull in a ring to like the wall and they would release a bunch of pit bulls on the bull, and whichever pit bull, why it's called a pit bull, is literally in a pit. Whichever dog could grab the bull by its snout and drag it to the ground would win.
Wow. You're going to breed some vicious dogs in that sport. That's for sure.
Well, it's just totally, I mean, this is, what kind of, who developed this insane sport? Like, okay, let's tie a bull to a wall and see whichever dog can pull its head to the ground. Like, what? What?
This must have been before Grand Theft Auto.
This was long before Grand Theft Auto.
Well, I understand exactly what you're saying. And the reason I made the Grand Theft Auto example is because you do stuff that's just as heinous in Grand Theft Auto, but
right, but it's fictional.
It's fictional, yeah.
Right.
People like doing heinous shit. That's why they did it. And isn't it nice that we live in a world now where we can still do that heinous shit, but like not hurt
sublimate
anyone?
it through fantasy,
not actually hurt the bull or the pit bulls or any of that stuff.
Well, but not only is it like heinous, not just for the bull. I mean, dogs would get fucking killed all the time.
Sure.
In that.
They get trampled.
They get trampled or gored by the bull. But also, to me, like, not only just the fact that it's really gross and brutal, how, like, I don't even know who comes up with that idea. That's such a bizarre idea. Like, let's tie a bull to a wall and have a bunch of dogs try to grab its face. Like, I don't know. It's just so, like, random.
This will be our game. We'll bet on it.
I don't like bullfighting, but I understood how like someone came up with that. They're like, oh, what if like one guy could kill a bull with a sword? Okay, like I'm like that makes sense. I understand like the logic that drives that, but
I mean, I can see how they came to this because I'm sure they did a lot of dog fighting. And they thought, wouldn't this be more interesting if we had like a bigger dog?
Well, I'm sure it wasn't just dog fighting because they would use dogs for hunting. They would use dogs for fighting off other animals, protecting their flocks and all sorts of things. So
yeah, big into the animals.
Well, I don't know. I think it's pretty gross.
So now you've turned on Hasan. Now you're like Hasan's making dumb arguments.
Well, I mean, I always knew he was making dumb arguments, or I guess I always knew he was dumb, but.
That is not how you can conduct an appropriate debate.
Good. So now you're saying the thing I just said. I have my own biases, my personal experiences, and I say them. Some people disagree and some people agree, and I don't care. You've now come along.
But you're still wrong, though, because I'm not operating on biases when I talk about women driving. I'm talking about the empirical evidence. I might have personally thought women are worse at driving than men as well. But once you arrive at, once you look at the evidence and you realize that said evidence suggests something else, you're probably not going to continue believing the prior thing that you believed, right?
We went over the same point like 5 times, and I think we're just.
I know, but it's just weird because I can't I can't break through Andrew's.
I understand your point. You're saying that even if I thought
here.
The reason that you're not breaking through is because you're just repeating yourself, Hasan. You're not actually trying.
Oh God, it's the thing you accused me of. Holy shit!
Well, Hasan's not. This is what Hasan isn't intelligent. Okay, he's not actually trying to figure out what Andrew's argument is and where the block is occurring. He just has an argument about like, oh, science study good, lived experience bad, which is hilarious coming from him, obviously, and a leftist.
Because he'll reverse it next time he's debating, communism. Yeah,
exactly, or CRT or something to that effect.
We figured it out because we're smart. We're like big brains. We're here to like get into the bottom of things.
Right. Well, and also here's the problem too. It doesn't behoove Hasan to get to the bottom of it because he can score an easy optic win if he just keeps repeating the talking point, the simple talking point, and says, haha, this guy's stupid.
This guy doesn't accept evidence.
Right.
Yeah.
We're losing the girl.
No, exactly. I want to talk to her.
fine.
He's saying
Yeah, me
even if I thought women were worse drivers, I've seen empirical evidence, and I'm so smart that I ignore my own eyes and ears and believe what the internet tells me. That's what he's
That's
come along
not what
and
I'm
said.
asking you to do, my friend.
I'm sure you're double vaccinated. It all makes sense to me now. You believe what you're told to believe. You don't believe your own eyes. You don't believe your own ears. And that's what you're going to sit here and talk about.
See, I feel this might be him straw manning a little bit here.
Why does he bring up He's like, you're double vaccinated. What does that have to do with anything?
He's saying you don't believe your own eyes and ears. I mean, it's Hasan though. He might not believe his own eyes.
Well, that
and
is
ears.
true. That is true.
If it comes to communism, he definitely doesn't believe his own eyes and ears.
Well, I mean,
Empirical-
isn't Hasan? Didn't he have some comment about like, if a woman is mugged or assaulted or raped by like someone, she should be careful to call the police on them because they could be an illegal immigrant and get deported. Didn't he have some crazy comment like that?
That's horrendous. I cannot believe that exists.
I could swore, maybe someone in the chat knows what I'm talking. I could have swore he said some comment
insane.
like that.
How is that not in our Hasan video? That's like the worst.
Just something like that, yeah.
That's the worst Hasan take ever. Don't call the cops on your rapist. Fuck you, Hasan. If that sentence ends, just shoot them yourself, then okay, we're having a conversation. But
Andrew's co-host is Walter Stevens III, PhD. He was a doctor before the accident. He was hit by a woman driver. I started reading that and I thought CT was just saying something true. And I realized as I'm reading it that this is just a good name.
She's just talking shit.
Yeah. Was that Hasan or Vosh? I thought it was Hasan. I could have swore it was Hasan. But if it was Vosh or someone else, let me know.
Have you had a girlfriend that's a bad driver?
Me?
Yeah.
Of course.
Have you had a girlfriend that's a good driver?
Yes.
Really?
I've had both, yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think here. Oh yeah, I had one girlfriend that was a good driver. Never mind.
Yes.
Evidence that you found on Google. Cool. If you believe everything that's on Google, that is your prerogative, my friend. And if you think that makes you
Someone said it was a debate he had with Destiny. Destiny said in the debate he said he wouldn't call the police because maybe it would be an illegal immigrant. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought of something like that.
I still think Hasan looks very nervous, but I guess you disagree.
I don't.
So
He's not nervous at all to me.
On the optics question, it's that this is an interesting thing about optics because two people can look at something and get completely different intuitions about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it really,
true.
the optics battle is really won on who has like more people buying into that optical framework over anything else. It really is like ad populum.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's true. Destiny asked us. That's right. Destiny Hasan said he wouldn't call the police, and then Destiny asked him, what if a woman was assaulted? Would you tell her not to call the police? And Hasan wouldn't answer the question. That's right. He weaseled out of it, or attempted to weasel out of it.
I would say that my wife is an adequate driver. They're asking me in the chat. They want the lowdown.
And that's funny. Well, here's the thing. I have obviously, and I'm sure this conforms with all of our lived experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard many women who, even if I don't think they're bad drivers, complain about like parallel parking or have a lot of problems parallel parking.
Yes.
And I've never heard a guy say that. Now, I don't know if that's just that men on average are better with certain spatial skills and spatial abilities than women, or because since it's like a trope for women to say that they're bad at parallel parking, that if a man says it, they would get like, oh, what are you, a woman? Like they would get attacked. So even if they are bad at parallel parking, they wouldn't admit to it. So
I was on maybe my second date, maybe my third date with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in San Francisco, and there was this. San Francisco is just a fucking nightmare to park anywhere. It's like terrible. And there was this tiny little spot, and I pulled up, and I knew she was thinking he's never gonna get in there. And I fucking pulled right in, and she said, She told me this later, obviously not. It's like her third date, but later on she said after that she was in love. She just knew. Like she knew when I parked that car. She was like, this guy knows how to get into some tight spaces.
Wow. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, no. Parallel parking is learn how to parallel park, guys. It's worth your effort. But nowadays it's like you got the backup cam and shit.
Yeah.
It's not even, it's easy.
And then 5 years from now, all the cars will have like the button you press that parallel parks for you. So it won't even matter.
I did this in like a 67 Ford Mustang that just was not a small car in any way, shape, or form.
Right. I would be curious. They should do this study. I would be curious. The parallel parking thing is such a stereotype. Like it's almost inconceivable that there's not some truth there. I would be very curious for them to do a study on like men versus women parallel parking.
Don't you have to do it to pass your driving tests? You did when I got my driver's license.
I didn't. I think it depends on where you live.
Yeah. Everyone was like, the parallel parking is the hardest part.
Right. I know that my parents did like way back in the day. But I didn't have to do parallel parking. I don't have a problem doing parallel parking, but I didn't have to do any of that. I think it depends where you live, because a lot of places, like where I live, unless I go to the city, which I don't know why I'd ever want to go to the city part of where I live because it sucks, it's very rare that I ever have to parallel park.
Yeah.
So, but there are some places that you live where you there's just nothing but parallel parking, nothing but street parking and stuff like that.
Yes.
Could it be that women complain about their flaws more? No, I mean, it's definitely a big part of it. I do think as men are more confident in their ability to drive, even if they suck at it, which is true about everything. Men are generally more confident about their ability to do anything. And women generally lack confidence in their ability to do stuff, even if they're good at it, on average, of course. This is a big part of the wage gap, is that issue too. Men are better at talking themselves up to their boss than women are. So that could definitely be part of it. That could definitely be a part of it. Because like if a man sucks at driving or parallel parking, he's not going to admit it to anyone.
Of course. You're going to Uber. You're just going to be like, hey, let's Uber.
I didn't have to parallel park when I took the test years ago in Central Texas. It's essentially impossible to find a place even to parallel park in a small town. You're saying it's impossible to find a place where you would have to parallel park in a small town? Or you're saying it's impossible to find a place that you don't? Because I would assume in most small towns there wouldn't be that much parallel parking, but
let's continue.
You sound smart in the modern world after the 3 years we've just been through to say that I read a piece of paper that tells me to believe X, so I believe X, and I ignore my own personal experiences. And you think
I'm not asking you to ignore your own personal experiences. I'm simply asking you to look at the data.
So let's change the subject because you've just proven your point.
Okay. Andrew, do you believe? Well, you didn't really prove anything, but it's cool. Do you believe the Earth is flat, or do you believe the Earth is spherical, round?
2 years.
Aldi has his headphones on.
Yeah, he took his headphones off.
He gets very stressed sometimes, and
Yeah, it's cool. It's important, sometimes.
Oh man. When your hype man is telling everyone how stressed you get, that's not a good. Fire that hype man. Fire that hype man immediately.
Sometimes you can't take the heat. Sometimes you can't take the heat, so you gotta get out of the kitchen a little bit. Andrew, do you believe the Earth is flat or round, spherical, globe?
Round.
Do you believe it's round, right? But when you walk outside, it feels like it's flat.
Brother. And I
it looks flat, it feels flat, but you believe it's round. Why do you?
Do you want to do an optics check in here?
Yeah, put up a poll.
Who's winning the optics right now?
Put up a poll on who's got better optics. I'm curious.
I mean, right now Hasan has just murdered Andrew in optics. As much as it pains me to say it.
Well, his hype man really let him down there. So
I mean, Andrew got triggered and took his earphones out. And now Hasan is the Earth flat?
Right, yeah.
Well, based on your lived experience, it should be flat, right? Oh, man.
Oh, I guess. I mean...
Oh, man.
Is that where we're going here? He says it's round.
Yeah.
You believe the Earth is round?
Because I have personal experience that would prove to me that the Earth is round.
Oh, you have personal experience. What happened?
right.
Did you go up to the fucking moon? Is that how you figured it out?
Exactly. I flew up into space and I looked down on Earth and I
Yeah.
saw a big circle.
That's crazy. Okay,
down there,
you don't have
looked
to.
down
Hey,
there,
listen, you don't have to concede on that point, but I think you and I both understand the importance of scientific, the importance of empirical evidence in that one, right? Or you know,
including all our fun.
science.
And I saw him there, and I thought, wow, this guy, wow, okay, he's gonna ruin the stream. We had a hot chick. Now you're
did
here.
you? Is that what you thought?
I will say Hasan is interrupting like crazy in this conversation.
He is,
though.
yeah.
He's interrupting like crazy.
Like
Like
I don't know,
every.
calling back to the hot chick is a little weak sauce. So
Oh yes.
he's losing
yes.
the optical battle.
Yes. Yeah. Oh.
Just chill out. Like
It's
I
a
don't
little,
want to
wait,
argue.
so what's up? Is it a little bit more difficult when I'm not like the traditional like SJW looking person? Is that why it feels like the stream is a little bit more ruined?
No, it's not difficult. As a professional, I'll tell you the conversation we just had.
Yeah, you dude, you've been kicked in the face and stuff. Like I'm sure you can handle little old me.
Exactly. So I'll tell you as a professional the conversation we just had. I said I am biased and I don't believe women can drive. That's my personal experience. I don't care if anyone agrees.
Oh.
You came along and said, don't interrupt me. You came along and said, no, that's not true because of the evidence. I came and said, I don't care about the evidence, my personal experience. You said, I also have personal experiences and we're all biased. I agreed. Then you said, even if I had personal experiences that said X, I would ignore them because the internet told me to believe Y. I believe what I'm
That's
told.
not what I said. I said
it's
that
over.
regardless of my own personal biases that I might have, evidence is still more important than my personal biases.
No, when you guys are both talking at once, you
And
can't
it's
hear anything.
boring, and you've lost, and it's boring. So let's just move on to the next subject.
Is that
'cause it's one
is that what happens? You just say I'm boring and I lost, and then you win. Is that what it is?
Do a poll on the chat, and if you won, then we'll continue to talk it. But I'm sure you've lost, and it's boring.
Okay.
And it's
Do you want me to leave the conversation that desperately, Andrew? It seems like you're running away a little bit.
No, we're just going in a never-ending circle. Like
Okay, yeah, we can move on from that. We
We
can move on from the importance of science and Andrew's personal biases. Andrew, can you tell me a little bit about the Hustlers University, whatever that is? Not in a promotional capacity. I know that like you're doing the rounds on Twitch, and I know that that's probably giving you a big boost. But I want to understand, you know, because you are a businessman. I want to understand how you generate revenue. Is it okay to get this information for free, or do I have to pay $50 and then maybe get an affiliate link and get other people to also join so I can make a 10% cut off of them also joining Hustlers University?
You can find everything on the website, and you can join if you want more information. That's fine.
So you don't want
Anything
to share this information for free right now. You don't want to educate me on that.
I don't want to sit here and spend the next hour you trying to accuse me of some bullshit.
I'm not. I'm here to learn. Andrew, you are a brilliant mind. Maybe a little rattled from the numerous concussions, but brilliant nonetheless. So I want to hear more about your business strategy, if possible.
It's actually quite interesting that people who are too scared to get in the ring try and make fun of people who have bravery to try and make fun of.
No,
them.
I do think it's very brave. I do think it's very brave.
Oh, all right. So let's not detract the bravery of men who do things you're afraid to do. That's the first thing.
No. You are absolutely incredibly brave. You still might have CTE, but you are incredibly brave. I appreciate it.
I mean, whatever. It's fine. The point I'm trying to make is I know you want to sit here and talk about hate you and try and break it down, and you've prepared a bunch of notes, etc.
I have no notes whatsoever. I'm a dumbass. I don't know anything I'm talking about. I'm simply here to learn from you.
Yo, can we stop with the sarcastic shit and just have an actual
No,
conversation?
I'm literally, but that's the
No,
truth.
you're being so sarcastic though. Like, why are you being so sarcastic? Like,
I'm
let's
not.
have a
I'm
conversation.
literally.
Bro, you
Oh,
just said,
come
like,
on,
10
come on,
things
come on,
that
come
were
on, come on, come on. I'm asking questions.
Yeah, you're
Hasan,
being sarcastic. Like, listen.
Hasan, please. It's pretty clear that I was the better Hasan. So
Yeah, that's agreed. I agree with that.
I hear you laughing.
I just like we have a guy coming into this chat sideways and laggy like I'm the better you.
I'm the better Hasan.
This is a terrible showing for Andrew, in my opinion. This is my first showing of Andrew, and it's really bad. He's coming off saying dumb stuff. He's coming off very whiny. He's getting annihilated by Hasan of all people, which, I mean, this should be, debating Hasan should be easy mode.
Yeah, totally.
Right, this should be easy mode.
Going to the flat Earth stuff was a good move, really, because you're like, okay, obviously you can't base that off your lived experience. I mean, you could say, I saw a photo on the internet, but then you're making Hasan's argument about.
Right. And then he goes on to just being ultra sarcastic and disparaging and
right
and belittling, which, I mean, you can make the argument. You could say that's the quote unquote female strategy as opposed to the male strategy. Yeah, maybe you can make that argument, but then you just look weak when you call it out and you just complain about it, as opposed to just dealing with it. So,
Hasan
I don't know.
also drifting into CoffeeZilla territory here. He's going to totally bust him for his pyramid scheme.
That's true.
Which is, I mean, Hasan is the guy to do it. It's on brand for him since he's so anti-capitalist. He's like, this is the excesses of capitalism right here, right? I mean, it is.
See, that should have been Andrew's response. He's like, okay, the socialist living in his $3 million West Hollywood mansion is coming at me about running a scam.
Is Hasan's, because I thought about this, is Hasan's hustle a scam? I would say Andrew Tate's hustle is way more scam-ish than Hasan's. I mean, Hasan's, I don't understand it. It seems like he's selling entertainment.
Sure. Now, Now, to be clear, I don't even understand or know what exactly the Andrew Tate thing that they're referring to is.
I watched another video on this, and it does appear to be a scam.
Is it one of these, like, buy this course and you'll get laid and make money things?
$50 course, yes. There's various videos on it, but it appears to be taking a bunch of tests and quizzes and learning investing advice, and it's probably just investing advice that's dug up elsewhere on the internet. I don't know if I would find any of it valuable as someone who's done some investing and trading myself. Yeah. And there was one video. Hasan did a follow-up video to this where he watched another guy's video who took the course and ended up like losing money. So yeah.
Right. Well, whatever. Regardless, I don't know what the course is. I'm not going to judge it as a scam or not. But
he articulated it pretty good. Hasan did. So
yeah, there's some sort of, it's like
there's an affiliate link. Yeah. Which reeks of multi-level marketing, right?
Yeah. It's one of those, like, here's a bunch of products that you go sell to your friends, and then you get your friends to sell those products to other people. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Right. That could be true. But I'm just going to say, so is Hasan, you could say, isn't really doing a scam in that I'm assuming he's not telling people he's going to take the money that they donate and start the socialist revolution. They're just donating money to a guy who makes content that they like, and they want him to continue to make that content. So it's not a scam from that level. But I would argue, and I think there's a strong case for this, that if your content is based on an ideology and you do not live that ideology, that is a scam, that you are a scammer on that level, and you're a dishonest person.
Coming out hard.
So I would say that
coming out hard. You're saying both there. This is like scammer versus scammer.
Scammer versus scammer. Yeah.
Wow.
Spy versus spy. Scammer versus scammer.
Wow.
I mean, do you disagree? Is that unfair for me to characterize it that way?
Well, I think lying to people and maybe not living up to the values you're preaching, I think lying to people is probably worse on the hierarchy of badness.
I would agree. I'll agree with that. Sure. Yeah.
So, and Hasan always tries to walk, obviously he tries to walk it back because he's not living his values. So,
you're right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, if you can take down someone that's defrauding people, I mean, that goes a little ways towards you not living your values.
Well, like, let's think about it this way. So imagine that you have some mega church somewhere, and the pastor, he comes up on stage and he preaches all this stuff about God, and he preaches, all about the importance of giving and charity and why greed is bad, and all this Christian stuff. And then that guy's just taking all the money that's being donated to the church, and he's buying, he has a private plane, he wears a Rolex, he has fancy suits, he just lives in like some giant gold-plated mansion somewhere. I mean, you could say like, well, it's not a scam.
That's
I mean, people
basically
are paying.
Hasan, yeah.
Right, exactly. I'm like, that's kind of what Hasan's doing. It's like, well, he's not technically telling people what he's going to do with the money, but it seems a little wrong. It does seem a little wrong.
Yeah, I mean, and the prosperity gospel dips into this because it is kind of like pray harder and you'll get rich too.
Well, with the prosperity gospel, that is more of a direct scam. If they're saying by giving money to me, you will get money in return, because
they do
they're
say
making
that.
a truth claim. Yeah, I know some of them do say that, right? And that's more of a direct scam because they're making an unfactual or an incorrect lie truth claim. So
I don't know if you want to bring up the other video. I don't know that it's important. Let's just listen to the last couple seconds.
If you could just get out the call, maybe it would fix the stream.
I think so. It's
Would you
boring,
guys,
man.
if you guys would like me to leave the call, I can do that. I don't want to be. I don't want to be rude.
I gotta get back to work.
I do not want to be rude, boys. This is your stream. Andrew, I'd love to talk to you in more detail if you'd like to. I hope that one day you can educate me on your revenue strategies. I mean, it does look a little bad though if you feel as though I should leave the call because you feel like I'm overpowering you a little bit. Hey, if you like this video.
Oh, they don't have, this doesn't have the end. Okay, all right, let's go to the other one.
Oh,
Andrew, I've seen some.
You've ruined the stream. Everyone wants you out of it. So either
it's okay. It's okay, Andrew. If you want, we can have a conversation again. We can have a conversation again in the future if you'd like. If you're brave. What I have mentioned is sarcastic. I truly not. I promise. I swear to Allah that I want to know.
They edited out a lot of that.
You're right. Wait.
You're boring. You've fucked up the stream.
Yeah. Wait. This is
like
all edited. Yeah.
We can have a conversation again in the future if you'd like. If you're brave enough, I guess.
HU has an affiliate program for some people if they want to affiliate, like everything else in the world. We have over 100,000 students making more than they invest each month. If they didn't make more than they invest, they wouldn't sign up. One of the most successful online educational platforms in history.
Are there multiple layers?
Learn how to make some money yourself if you want to join and have more information. It's all on corporatate.com. You can find out yourself. If you're too cheap to pay $50, then you're a brokey. Nobody gives a shit what you think anyway. You've ruined the stream. Everyone wants you out of it. So either change tune and get with the program and be fun, or keep sitting here and talking sarcastic and really slowly and repeating yourself.
That other video is completely deceptively edited because the other video makes it sound like he didn't want to talk about his business and Hasan left.
I think the other video just ended way before we got to this point.
Oh, you do?
Well, let me see.
But it's still deceptively edited.
No, I'm literally, but that's the truth.
You're being so
correct. Yeah, because see, there's sideways guy.
I gotta get back to work.
I hope that one day you can educate me on your revenue strategies. I mean, it's
where's the running
it does
line?
look a little bad though if you're like if you feel as though I should leave the call because you feel like I'm overpowering you a little bit.
You should stay on the call, but I think you should be more.
Okay, it ended right.
Ended right there.
Yeah. So he's not saying leave the call.
More socially aware.
I am. Is that a bad question? Do you not educate thousands of young men about your business strategies? I want to know more.
Okay, I want you to be more socially aware and understand that since you've joined the stream, everyone's begging for you to leave. The vibe's down. It's boring. It's late at night for me. I came here to have fun. You're being boring. No one thinks you're cool. No one thinks you're intelligent. No one thinks you're.
This is such a oh my god, this is so whiny. The stream was really fun, and then you came on and challenged me, and now it's boring. You killed the vibe. Oh my god. This is bad. This is really bad.
Funny.
But I could see a lot of people seeing it as if he's making dunks on Hasan here.
Yeah, but those people are coping. That is a cope spiral. That is you're a fan of Andrew and you're mad that he's losing a debate poorly.
This is the funniest thing about optics because most people will not judge the debate on anything other than optics.
Who they like. Yeah, of course.
Like they're not even capable of assessing the arguments that are being made. Who's making good arguments, who's making bad arguments. So all they have to go on is who's dunking more. And I don't think Hasan is dunking much here.
80% of the people are just like, oh, who do I like going into this conversation?
Even Hasan's dunk, which both of us recognized that it was a giant dunk with the bringing up the round Earth, and how do you know that the Earth is round?
Right.
99% of people did not perceive that dunk. They didn't. They just didn't.
I think Hasan's audience probably did, but I think Andrew's audience didn't.
Well, and Hasan, I mean, this is why, remember what you were saying about how you have to make it super clear, how you have to articulate why this is like,
right.
You have to go in and say, yes, that's right. You would look up on the internet. You would get that information from the internet, just like you would look up any other study or any other evidence, any other empirical evidence that you find. That's how you know that the world is round. Like, you have to sink that in there.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm cool or intelligent. I just have questions, and you're not answering them for some reason.
No,
why are we derailing?
I don't have to answer your questions. You're not the police. I don't have to answer your
No, not at all. No, I am not the UK police nor the Romanian one. I'm simply asking you questions about.
Now, isn't he wanted for charges or something? Is that?
Oh, is that why he said it? So he did get
a dunk.
Okay,
yeah,
I didn't know.
Romanian.
So this is it. You got to say, I'm not the Romanian police. I know that you're wanted in Romania.
For whatever,
yeah,
yes.
Exactly. That would be the solid dunk. That's what Destiny would do. But Hasan
that is true.
Yeah.
Well, Destiny would do it while laughing very loudly to signal to his audience.
Yeah.
April 27th, 2022, Romanian police raided the home of prominent pro-Trump. I don't know why they said that. Well, actually, I do know why they said that. No, it's not related. Romanian police raided the home of prominent pro-Trump online personality Andrew Tate this month as part of a human trafficking investigation.
Wow.
Okay. Let's see. Wait, does it say what the claim was? No. I like how this is how you know this is bullshit. This is a Daily Beast article. It says, okay, the police are investigating this guy for human trafficking. Let me tell me about that. But the first 6 paragraphs are all about like his connections to being, a Trump
supporter.
Guy.
Yeah,
it's like who cares?
Don't you understand? If a human trafficker is a Trump supporter, that means Trump is a human trafficker.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's what they're trying to say.
It's so sad. We live in hell world.
Which you literally educate people on. I just want to know how you how you do growth and revenue. Why can't I be a hustler? I want to be a hustler like you. I want to be a top G, a top bloke, a proper bloke.
You can find out more on the website. I would like the stream to get fun again. If you want to discuss this,
you don't think your educational content is fun for people to consume?
I think everyone's saying kick him. Read the chat. Have you guys read the chat on your stream?
You want me to leave that bad? I'll. If you want me to leave that bad, I'll leave.
You're just being. I mean, listen. I'm just a messenger. But you're just kind of like being sarcastic, making.
I'm not. I'm literally not. I promise. I swear to Allah that I want to know.
You were just saying wasn't sarcastic. Don't even. You can't even convince me that.
I'm not being sarcastic.
None of what I have mentioned is sarcastic. I truly would like to know more.
This is so soy. Oh my god.
I truly would like to know more. I swear I would like to know more. I mean, talking about the multi-level marketing scheme is kind of boring.
Right, but it's an obvious dig, Right. It's an obvious dig, yeah.
You've made the stream boring. You have to go. You have to go.
Kick. 85%. No one thinks you're funny or interesting or witty. Your little comebacks, no one's interested in them. You haven't won anything.
It's okay. It's okay, Andrew. If you want, we can have a conversation again. We can have a conversation again in the future if you'd like. If you're brave enough, I guess.
HU has an affiliate program for some people if they want to affiliate, like everything else in the world. We have over 100,000 students making more than they invest each month. If they didn't make more than they invest, they wouldn't sign up. one of the most successful online educational platforms in history.
Are there multiple layers?
Join and learn how to make some money yourself. If you want to join and have more information, it's all on corporatate.com. You can find out yourself. If you're too cheap to pay $50, then you're a brokey. Nobody gives a shit what you think anyway. You've ruined the stream. Everyone wants you out of it. So either change tune and get with the program and be fun, or keep sitting here and talking sarcastic and really slowly and repeating yourself and talking about how you only believe what you see on the internet, because no one really gives a fuck and it's boring. So let's move on to something fun. Let's get the tempo up. I've just told you about Hate You. We do have an affiliate program. You can find out more on corporatate.com.
It is. So, okay. So
Hustler University. That's what it is.
It is a multi-level marketing scheme. Got it. I just wanted to figure out.
Look at his editor throws in the multi-level marketing scheme.
Well,
that
listen.
other video was so deceptively edited because they edited out all of the back and forth on why he was leaving the stream.
This is all good stuff.
I wonder if Hasan is involved or if that's just some Hasan
it could just be some random
deceptively editing.
Though, to be fair, to be fair to Andrew, okay, if you're signing up for something called Hustler University,
right,
you should know what you're getting into, okay? I wouldn't sign up for something called Crooked Inc. and be like, oh, I might get scammed here. Let me sign up for this program called Scamming 101.
Hustler
see how
Inc.
this goes.
I mean, I don't know.
Out if it was truly a pyramid scheme, it would be inappropriate of me to assume that it's a pyramid scheme without having you explain it in such terms. But thank you. All right, whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm game.
You're welcome to affiliate anytime you like, friend. There's no problem.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on because this dude he's lame, my friends. Let's
All
get
right, yeah, Hasan, I appreciate you coming on. We're gonna bring in another guest though.
All right, peace, boys.
Hasan,
have fun.
thank
Andrew,
you for
I'm
coming
always open to talk to you, my friend, if you would like to.
We'll have another conversation.
Thank you, my friend.
Have a good night.
That was bullshit. I've never seen a man act so hysterical. I thought he was such a fucking big boy. What happened? That's crazy. What happened there? How?
You want to listen to the shit talking or you want to move on?
We'll see where it goes.
We got big brain stuff to talk about, but we got Sri
Right.
Lanka. Well, I guess Sri Lanka's all
literally
that's
no
left.
one cares about Sri Lanka, but we can talk.
That video is going to get like 500 views, man. You're like, you don't even know.
How are you gonna fucking talk so much shit and then cry like a baby? My man was in his fifis on that one. That was Andrew Tate. That's not good, brother. How hard are they dick riding him on stream right now? Let's hear. Oh man, wasn't that guy so fucking boring, right?
And then he thinks he caught me somehow, but really he just killed the vibe. I would have loved to argue with him, but he was so boring.
I'm not trying to this is gonna come off extremely dick riding, bro. But he had the same point 5 times in a row, bro.
No, man, it's boring.
Yeah, bro. Bro, I
had no clue what y'all were talking about. I'm gonna be.
I had no clue. I had no clue what y'all were talking about.
Oh no!
Sitch, get the data chart out. I need to write this down.
Listen, no. Andrew's a smart guy. Okay, if you're like an Andrew character, you always have to get your co-host has to be dumber than you, right?
Of course. Wait a second here. I don't know that I like that.
I'm not an Andrew character. Okay, I'm a true seeker. It's a difference. I'm not a hustler.
You don't want. I mean, there's like slightly less intelligent than you, and then there's like dumb. I don't know that you want your co-host to be.
Never outshine the master.
I don't think your co-host should be. I have no clue what y'all were fucking talking about.
Yeah, I don't understand the most basic conversation about lived experiences versus statistical analysis. Yeah. Okay.
It is difficult to. It is more difficult for smart people to communicate. You know that, right? Like I have the opposite of the Dunning-Kruger problem. Like I say things that people don't understand because like it requires a lot of knowledge and understanding of the world. No, I'm serious. This is like the reverse Dunning-Kruger. You're laughing, but you know it's true. You know it's totally true.
Where's the corn filter? You should have said that with the corn filter. That would have been the best fucking joke ever.
Sometimes it's better. Sometimes it's better just to dumb it down. I
You
think
put the
that's
corn filter on, you're like, listen, Sitch, people just don't understand my brilliance.
there is some difficulty in articulating a complicated argument. I mean, it's true. I know you're laughing, and and what I'm saying is
okay.
is
Let
funny.
me. Yes. Okay. Well, I'm laughing because what you're saying is going to come off so
I know,
horribly
horribly.
egotistical to everyone.
One of the reasons why I said it was for comedy. Obviously, I know it sounds horrible,
I'm saying you should have had the banana filter on.
At some level,
that would have been the best joke.
At some level, but I do not think that Hasan has thoughts or arguments that are like you've got to sit down and kind of figure out.
No.
How do I articulate this to another person? Yeah.
He's copied arguments, but to be fair to you, Adam, I understand exactly what you're saying.
You don't have to be fair. Yeah, I don't.
I want to be fair.
Don't be boring, okay?
I'll listen. I'll be boring.
Let's move on. Let's not.
No.
Boring.
Let me defend Adam. Okay, after I ridiculed you by laughing.
Let's not be boring. Let's not be boring.
Yes, let's not be boring. No, I understand what you're saying. If you're talking about something, you're referencing a lot of other ideas.
Yes.
That very often people are not familiar with.
Yes.
So they're like, either what the fuck are you talking about, or that sounds stupid.
Right. And not only that, they have the dumb version of your argument in their head.
Right.
And they immediately jump to your making that dumb argument.
Right. Which is what you were saying I was doing in the beginning of the stream.
When I'm not making that dumb argument. And I never would make that dumb argument.
Right.
Because that argument is dumb.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
But they've never encountered the argument that you're making. And I mean, I do this a lot just because I'm interested in making unique arguments. And I don't think people on the internet are. It's definitely not safe to make unique arguments because you can get mischaracterized and pigeonholed.
Right.
But I don't give a fuck. I really don't.
Listen. And I mean, this is the problem that, this comes up a lot with Jordan Peterson or James Lindsay. They're referencing things people don't understand. So they say, "Oh, it's just
they mischaracterize them." Yeah,
it's buzzwords. It's nothing. I was accused by this by some random person on Twitter, which is weird because I feel like I try to do everything I can to not stray into the territory, but whatever. So
they say it's word salad. They say
Jordan
Peterson thinks no women should wear makeup at work.
Yes.
Like things like that. Yes. Yeah. So, any final thoughts on Hasan?
Oh wait, I want to see if there's any more. This is amazing.
Oh, okay.
Hearing the cope spiral from Andrew's co-host is pretty good.
It is, yeah.
To be honest,
bro, that is dude, come on, brother. That is so funny. That is dick riding, homie. That is what you're doing. God damn, dude. Slobbing on it too. Now I know Andrew.
Isn't that homophobic?
Maybe, I don't know.
I feel it's homophobic.
That's the one that everyone says that all the time now. That's like people love to talk about dick riding.
I feel like it's homophobic. You're criticizing a man for defending another man by saying that he's literally getting fucked in the ass by this guy.
Right.
Or as Hasan said, blowing him.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying it feels a little homophobic from the PC Warriors SJW woke left just feels a little homophobic. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, don't say that, guys. It's homophobic.
I'm saying the rest is just Hasan. I don't really care.
Okay, but with the same point, and literally was like without on.
Okay,
what are you doing?
It. I'm just saying if they went back to Andrew's co-host cope spiraling, but
they never do. Yeah, he just
fair enough.
Talks about how right he is and how awesome he is. So
right.
All right, great video. This was fun.
It was.
I think that was I think our fight was more interesting than their fight, to be honest with you. But
our fight actually had more substance to it than their fight.
You always turn into race now. What's going on? It's like, Sitch, are you on the verge of being a race hustler or something?
I thought it would be a good metaphor.
Right.
Well, I guess it's not, because as soon as you bring up race, people go, "Wow, racism," and they just freak out.
Yeah, you can't really do that.
I shouldn't bring it up anymore.
So the final poll is, I put up a poll
Oh, okay.
We were looking up stuff.
The optics poll.
Who has better optics, Andrew Tate or Hasan? And it's Andrew Tate 40% and Hasan 60%. So
interesting.
Hasan has 20 points on him, but
you should have said who had better optics in this conversation.
Well, I thought that was implied. I didn't think I needed.
Now it's implied, Adam.
I should have said who has better optics on average.
Yeah, you go. But now see, if you said that, I wouldn't be shocked if Andrew Tate has better optics on average than Hasan does. But,
oh yeah, way better.
I mean, listen, Andrew Tate only had the police come in and arraign him for human trafficking. I mean, he never said America deserved 9/11. So
yeah. Hasan sticks his foot in his mouth once a week. So
that's true. That's true.
Well, points for Hasan for going after what he considers a grift. Now, if he can just take that attitude to the mirror for a second, we'll all be in much better shape.
Right. Listen, I'm fine that me and Adam are in the low 3-digit IQs. We're at least in like the 100 range of the IQ spectrum. And I'm pretty sure Hasan and Andrew are in like the mid 50s, maybe.
That's not 65. I'm telling you that you can't even throw a baseball.
Okay, fine. We'll say high 60s, low 70s. Is that better?
I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say 90. I mean, if I was making an honest guess.
Yeah. Okay. If we're being honest, we're not being hyperbolic. You're gonna go with 90. Okay.
I mean, he might make it to 93, 95. I don't know.
Forrest Gump was 88, really? Okay.
Forrest Gump.
I thought he was lower than that.
Forrest Gump was 88. Oh, okay.
I thought he was lower.
Oh, okay. Well, then Hasan is definitely 95.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, isn't average like 110?
I thought average is 100, which is why it's 100.
Oh, okay.
Could be wrong.
It is? Okay. I've only taken 6 IQ tests, but they didn't measure. They didn't give me a score. They didn't tell me the score. Maybe they didn't want to hurt my feelings.
I only took an IQ test when I was a kid. My parents refused to tell me what I got, which was kind of annoying, but they didn't want to bias me one way or the other.
Look, the parents tell you if it's amazing. They're like, oh my God, you're a genius.
I must have got a really low score, so that must be it. They're like, they're like, little Sitchums. They're like, we're sorry, but your child, he scored a 70.
Right.
My parents like, we don't want him to think he can't do anything when he grows up. We're not going to tell him.
That's exactly what they do. Yeah.
You're probably.
They don't want to bias you towards the downside. But if it's good, what's wrong with biasing you towards the upside? Look, you've got 195 IQ here.
Well, because then you'd be lazy. You're like, oh, I don't have to work. I'm like, I'm a 140 big brain intellectual, you know?
Oh, wow. Maybe it was high. I didn't think of that.
Maybe the fact that you didn't think about that shows that you
I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Okay.
I never got an I don't even know if they did do numbers. I got tested for dyslexia and they give you IQ tests for that.
What do you mean? Yeah, of course it is. And it's always been a number. What do you mean?
But they didn't show me the number.
Oh yeah, right. Because it was very low or high and they didn't want to bias you.
Well,
or maybe it was average. They're like, listen, we don't want our son to think he's average. Okay, we want him to be exceptional.
When they test for dyslexia, though, they're testing a discrepancy between the two. So one was high and one was low.
Oh, like they're testing your average IQ versus your reading score or whatever?
Yeah, they give you 3 IQ tests that are written and 3 IQ tests that are oral. And they measure a discrepancy between the written and oral tests. And if you have like 20 points or like something's fucking up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This says, I don't know, one thing says
we're done with Hasan, just so we're moving on,
yeah,
right?
We're moving on.
Bye-bye. Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.